Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Rafaela and today's title for this written piece is Alone, Not Lonely. Now I believe that there's a quiet difference between loneliness and solitude, and it's one that often goes unnoticed until you've experienced sitting in both. To me, loneliness feels more like an ache, more like an emptiness that whispers, I wish someone was here. It's the absence of company, the longing for a voice other than your own, and a craving for connection that just isn't being met. Solitude, on the other hand, I see it to be less about absence and more about intention. It's the choice to be alone, but to be alone and to walk a path inward, to find comfort in your own presence. And it's not about isolation, as a lot of people make it out to be, but rather about introspection. Loneliness can make us feel lost in a crowded room at times, and it makes us want to reach for anyone who might make the silence stop. I feel like when we come out of a period of a deep loneliness and suddenly we find ourselves to be surrounded by opportunities to connect, that sometimes we just grab at any opportunity that there is, desperate to fill the void. But in doing so, what happens is that we often choose quantity over quality. We seek connection for the sake of connection rather than meaning. We might overshare and bond over wounds instead of healing, and we sometimes mistake shared pain and mutual dislike for genuine closeness. Although it may feel comforting to have those kind of connections after not connecting for a really long time with someone, these connections can actually be more draining than they restore, and they can end up leaving us rather emptier than we were previously feeling in our loneliness. Now, solitude is a little bit different. Solitude is what happens when you stop running from the silence and instead you choose to sit with it. It's when you choose to be alone, not because you have to be, but because you want to understand who you are without the noise of the outside world. Solitude invites reflection and shadow work and self-acceptance. It helps us to untangle our thoughts, to learn our patterns, and to reconnect with our own roots. And it's a space for growth, an uncomfortable space at times, but nevertheless a deeply grounding one. Now, when you've known solitude, real connections feel a little bit different. You don't chase them, instead you've recognized them, and you no longer reach out to anyone to fill in the emptiness because you learn how to fill it for yourself. From that place, you start to choose people who nourish instead of drain. You start to choose people with intentions, and you start developing relationships that are based on truth, depth, and mutual growth. So you switch to choosing quality over quantity then. To me, loneliness says I need someone, while solitude says that I am enough. And it's from that knowing, from that rooted place, that we can truly connect. Not out of desperation, but out of wholeness. Now, if you're finding yourself feeling lonely right now, my advice to you would be not to rush it, to sit with it, but to not get stuck in it. Let it teach you what it's trying to show you. Maybe it's telling you that you've been giving too much of yourself away lately, or that you're seeking connections in the wrong place. Use this time to turn inwards instead of outwards, and to learn how to enjoy your own company, to care for yourself the way you wished others would care for you, and to build a life that feels full even when no one is watching you and when no one is around you to celebrate it. Because when you find peace in solitude, you no longer depend on other people to make you feel whole. You simply invite them in and share your wholeness with them, the one that you already created within yourself. And the people that are meant for you will meet you there, and those connections will be real and grounded and long lasting. Now, I also know how heavy loneliness can feel, how it can make you question your worth or wonder if you'll ever find the right people to connect with. And I felt that ache too, the silence, the longing, the need to be seen. But I also know that solitude can become one of the most healing spaces you'll ever step into. It is in those quiet moments with yourself that you begin to realize you've always been your own constant, your own home. So if you're in that space right now, take time. You're not falling behind. You just are being called to slow down and to rediscover who you are beneath the noise. Trust that this season of solitude is preparing you for something way deeper, more authentic connections, and the kind that feel like peace, not survival. Now, I hope that you all enjoy today's reading. Before I wrap this up, I do want to say that I do believe that there's value in meeting all kinds of people, even if some of those connections end up being more about quantity than quality. I don't necessarily see that as a negative thing, because those experiences often teach us something important, which is that we need ourselves more than we need anyone else. And they remind us that bonding solely over shared pain or the past can't sustain a deeper connection. And if all that there is to that connection, my advice to you would be to leave them behind. I do believe that sometimes those relationships that often begin with connecting over the past or shared pains can evolve into something more meaningful, and it's beautiful when they do. But when they don't, I would personally choose to let them go. And I've learned through that not every connection is meant to last. I do love to hear your thoughts, so do let me know if you're comfortable enough to share how you handle a situation like that. And have you ever had to release connections that no longer serve you? And what have you found yourself learning from them instead? As always, I thank you all for watching and for taking time to be here. I hope that you have an amazing day and that you take care of yourself. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.